The biggest question I get whenever people find out I quit teaching is, what did you do after? In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how I transitioned out of teaching, the jobs I did next, and how 6 years after quitting, I now find myself with so much free time that I can freely pursue just about anything I'm interested in doing, all while balancing my time with the people I care about the most. Leaving teaching without any real plan was really challenging. I had to battle a lot of my own limiting beliefs about what I was and wasn't capable of doing with my life. How could I support a family without a job lined up? There'd be no way I could find a job. Teaching was all that I knew, that kind of stuff. Now, if this describes you, I've put a link to 2 free resources in the description that you can use to overcome whatever's holding you back from finding a life of passion and purpose and taking control of your work and your life. Now, like I said, when I left teaching, I didn't really have much of a plan lined up. I knew that tutoring was one of the best ways that you could earn extra money as a teacher. Plus, it was a great way to keep one foot in the education field without dealing with a lot of the demands of classroom teaching. So I started tutoring a little bit before I left teaching, which was helpful because it was a way of sort of easing any of the doubts I had about, being able to earn an income after leaving teaching. Tutoring can pay well, but it wasn't really enough to directly replace my teaching salary. And at the time, my wife was working from home as an online teacher in a private school, and they had a need for a math teacher. It was part-time work, and that was great because I was already tutoring part-time. So I started teaching online while tutoring, and after a couple months, I was earning close to what I was when I was teaching. And the best part is I was working mostly from home. So I started thinking, wow, maybe this is gonna work out after all. If you're one of the people that watched my tell-all why I quit teaching video, you'll know that one of the reasons I left teaching was to pursue more balance in my life. So it was looking like I finally found that. There was this period of uncertainty immediately after I quit, but within just a few months, I'd found the balance I was looking for. I was now home with my wife and my first daughter, and I was just absolutely loving it. But the problem is piecing together part-time work isn't the most stable or reliable way to earn an income. So there was a bit of pressure that I was feeling to find something a little bit more stable and permanent. By chance, the school I was working for posted a head of department position that I managed to secure. And this was great because it was higher pay, it was full-time work, and it challenged me a lot more than teaching online and tutoring was. There were a lot of high conflict situations with parents, but I always had the time to sort of cool off and just think about things before getting into like a big nasty email. I was working from home, so there was really never any pressure to, jump into a meeting with a parent who is out to get you. The flexibility I had allowed me to keep tutoring during this time, and I was also finding myself with time to pursue a lot of the passions that I let go of, when I was a teacher. I've always been interested in technology, so I started taking a bunch of web development courses, and it just kind of made sense. I was working online with online courses anyways, and it was around that time I started noticing that my head of department role was bringing on a lot of the same stuff I didn't really like about teaching. Even though I was working from home, there was still a lot of arguing with parents and, tense phone calls and just splat. While it was nowhere near the level of stress I was experiencing in the classroom, I was really starting to feel like teaching just wasn't where I wanted to be at all. As luck would have it, my school was hiring for web developers to help design and build courses. And my teaching background and tech skills that I'd been working at made me literally the perfect fit for this job. And that's actually where I am right now. 6 or 7 years after I quit teaching, I now write and build courses for an online school. It's a super cool job with lots of freedom and autonomy, and I basically get to use all the skills that I've ever developed throughout my life. If you told me 7 years ago I would be working from home comfortably, literally in my pajamas, while getting as much time with my family and my passions as I wanted, while feeling completely and wholeheartedly fulfilled, I just wouldn't believe you. But looking back, my path was really just a series of opportunities that I said yes to. Some made sense, others didn't seem to at the time, but when I look back, they all brought me to where I am right now. There's this thing I've noticed when people transition jobs, they seem to think that you can move laterally and cleanly from one job to the next. But the reality is, I don't think that really happens that often, unless you're able to find something, apply to it, and then just switch jobs. But in my case, I had to go through this period of uncertainty, and I did a lot of thinking about where I wanted to end up. But through it all, I maintained my values until I found something that I knew I'd love doing. Leaving teaching has allowed me to work from home flexibly while prioritizing my family, and it's allowed me to pursue my passions and grow a blog that helps people like you live intentionally. Now, if you're leaving teaching or even your job, the chances of your path being exactly the same as mine are pretty unlikely, but I'm hoping my story inspires you to think about your own own path and what that might look like. Start close to your profession, and as you get comfortable, start branching out and see which of your passions you can start pursuing and make part of your work. If there's anything you'd like me to address in a future video about leaving teaching or just switching jobs in general, leave a note in the comments. Be sure to grab the free workbooks in the description below, and if you need more inspiration, check out this video on how to find a job that you love doing.